Whoever's on that side is obviously channel 1.
Yep. Is that me or is that?
Yeah. So you're because you picked that one, those ones up. You're
Yep.
channel 1.
Channel 1. Yeah.
Check.
Test.
Because it's a different source.
That's okay. Test. Check. 1 2. Testing. 1 2. Check. Testing. 1 2. 1 2. Check. Testing. 1 2. Check. Ball in the dead zone. Ball is in the dead zone. Players stretching in the try zone. Check. 1 2. 1 2. Check. Test. 1 2. 1 2. Check. Test. 1 2. Check. Yep. All good? Sweet. 1 and 2. All right.
Do the adjusting now, just so it's not being done in the go. Yep. Sweet. Battery's okay?
Yeah, heaps. We got 4 hours and 22.
So when I send you the message, just give me a thumbs up that you've got it and you're starting the recording.
Thumbs up in the message or from here?
No, like, I'll look at you. Just make sure.
Yep. Yeah, that's line 1.
Test, test.
Test, test. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Test, test. Oh, sorry, able to move down.
Is that cool if you move down a little bit further? Right there? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, you need to rotate. Yeah, cool. 1, 2, 1, 2, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2, test, test. Here we are in beautiful Ballarat. Great afternoon for rugby. Gerard, what are your initial thoughts on today's squad?
Well, they've rested quite a few players, the Rebels, today. But having said that, looking through this 1 to 15, it's still a very strong squad. Big Matty Phillip, man of the match for the Brumbies, or the Rebels rather, in the match against the Brumbies last weekend, for all those of you who tuned in to watch that. And Luke Jones joining him in the second row this week, of course, returning after a couple of seasons in France. Back to where it all began for big Lukey Jones. But of course, we can't ignore the man that most people are here to see today.
That'd be
in
what?
the number 10,
Quade Cooper.
Quade Cooper.
Or if you're the Ballarat News, Wade Cooper. No, I'm just kidding there, Ballarat News. Who are you most excited to see on the pitch today?
Well, the obvious answer is Quade Cooper, after being out of the game for so long. Having said that, it's a man who's actually going to start the game in the number 14 jersey for the Melbourne Rebels, Tautau Tassi, who played alongside Quade up at South Rugby Club last year in the Brisbane competition. And he came here with big raps, and he's been training the house down as well. And that combination he formed with Quade at club level, be interesting to see how it actually goes this next level up, Super Rugby.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any magic that happens today out on the pitch.
From the Reds, who you got your eye on today, Neil?
Oh, I think I'm an old fan of Mr. Higginbotham. I know he's coming off the bench, but I do love his leadership and what he brings to that squad. We'll see when if he gets a run, but with four 20-minute quarters, it'll be exciting to see.
Does that sound alright? How's that?
Even with the win?
Because it's coming, I don't know, I feel like it's coming that way. What do we do? Just like, to some extent, will it have any impact if you shield it a little or not really?
Or if my body...
Try that again. So, how would that work with the cords? Does that reach there?
Yeah, even if we just prop it a little bit.
What's that?
This can open up a bit. And we can just slide if you want to have the silence.
Yeah. Test. And as we watch the Reds warm up over here, the strong breeze coming in.
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
And they've got the 26 players here today, the Reds. Fiao Fotueka. So that's how I do it.
That's good.
Phonetically. Fio-Y Suatia.
Fio-Y Suatia. Fio-Y Suatia. Fio-Y Suatia. Fio-Y Suatia.
It's like
Chris Fio-Y Suatia.
Wait, I remember. I have to pay to get in here. I have to pay a fee. Oh, what?
Fio-Y.
Just start trying to pick them out now. So,
I wouldn't even know with these boys.
Lucan Salakaya Lotto, big man, second from the left.
Do you want to give that a try?
Yeah. If we slide all those...
Just gotta be careful.
Oh, okay, yep. So,
No, I'm sure they actually folded the whole thing like cascades.
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So what if we go like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Might have
Try and put them on. Remember we had that issue with that cable and it's not almost
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
It's good at the moment, but if you snap, so don't have them on. Take them off while we do this. Take them off in case.
Yeah.
It's not
Try to listen for feedback, but that was pretty good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mars Station. This promise, Queensland Reds, Melbourne Rebels.
That's Weeksy.
22 degrees, kick-off is in just under 10 minutes.
Should have tables one off way.
You want to give that a try?
Move it a bit further, but I need to be able to.
Rotate.
Yeah, that's all right. You can button it up.
That's fine.
Do you want to fade it up?
Yeah, if you just give me the hands. I only have to do it once, right? And then, yeah.
We're at 21. A little bit to your left.
Is that you guys call it that or something?
If we turn up, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean just sorry.
Standing here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah it's good.
Yeah, the wind's totally gone. I don't have any feedback at all. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, test.
Test. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
We'll
it's not
be
too-
moving side to
Yeah,
side.
we'll move
It's
side to
fine.
side to side. It's not
No.
too bad.
Yeah, that's all right.
You got a large part of the left side of the field anyway, so
Yeah,
And,
I'll be
and
sweet.
can you see around in the corner?
Yeah, yeah. We're good. We got.
I mean, if anything, too,
Fial.
using your screen as a little bit of backup that's not also a bad thing. All right. Melbourne Rebels starting front row. Ferretti, Saga, Ferretti, Anarangi, Pone Famasili, and in the locks we have Big Luke Jones, Big Matt Phillip. In the back row we have Brad Wilkin, Richard Hardwick, EC Nazarani. Our 9-10 combo for today.
Test, test.
Test, test.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Mars Stadium, Ballarat, for the trial match between the Melbourne Rebels and the Queensland Reds. We're a little under 2 weeks away from the first game of Super Rugby 2019, so final chances for a lot of these teams to finalise their squads for that round one matchup. I'm your host Gerard McClenaghan. Joining me in the commentary box today is Neil McDougall. How are we, Neil?
Very great. Thank you for having me all the way from Toronto, Canada. Straight off the Toronto Arrows' first loss in Major League Rugby. But yeah, great to be here in beautiful Ballarat. It's shaping up to be a beautiful day with calmer temperatures, a little wind, a little crosswind. So we'll see what the two teams have in store.
Yes, it'll be interesting to compare the, Major League Rugby, where you've been last season or so, compared to the speed and the pace of Super Rugby down south. I think you're in for a treat today, Neil.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now, of course, a lot of interest in this match, beyond just the regular pre-season sort of interest. A certain Quade Cooper making his debut today for the Melbourne Rebels against his old team, the Queensland Reds, and that alone is going to be worth the price of admission here today, Neil.
Yeah, I think Quade's going to, he's got some motivation coming back, playing just some club rugby last season against his old squad. So we'll see how that goes and how that magic between him and Michael Ruru shapes up throughout the game. So running through the team list today, the game will be played in 4 quarters of 20 minutes. Quarter 1 and quarter 3 at the interval there will be a short little 2-minute drinks break before the main break at half time. Queensland Red squad today, they've named 25 players to partake in today's match. The starting lineup, however, Fiao Fotuaika, Brendan Payanga-Amosa, Ruan Smith will make out the front row. Angus Bligh and Lucan Salakaya Lotto in the second row. Back row of Angus Scott Young, Fraser McRae and Caleb Timu, who will be the captain for the Reds today. The halves of Moses Sorofi and Hamish Stewart will be joined in the 3-quarter line by Filippo Daugunu, Duncan Payawa, Chris Fiowe Soatia, Jock Campbell, and at the back, recent recruit from the New South Wales Waratahs, Bryce Hegarty. And the starting 15 today for the home side, Neil. Yeah, in the front row, we have Freddie Sanga, Andrew Rangi, and Pone Famasili. In locks, we have Luke Jones and Matty Phillip. In the back row, Brad Wilkin, Richard Hardwick, and Isi Nazarani fill out the back 3. From 9 to 10, Michael Ruru is feeding to Quade Cooper. And to fill out the rest of the backs, we have Flying Samisi Tupo, Billy Meeks, Tommy English in the centers, Tassi Tau Talatasi in the right wing, and Bowden Waka at fullback.
So, to start the first half, we will have the Queensland Reds on the left of screen, running left to white. Called the Reds, but predominantly white jerseys, you'd have to say, Neil.
Yes.
Make it a little bit confusing. And the Rebels, a little bit of gamesmanship, keeping them waiting out here. And although it's been quite warm the last month in Victoria, a calm 21 degrees today, Neil, with a bit of wind.
Yeah, and it's going to cool down throughout the game as well, and especially as the sun sets over the stadium. So we'll see if that has a factor, but the conditions are in great nick. The grass, talking to the groundskeepers earlier, that's just a little bit of from the sun, but the field is actually in really, really good condition. Soft ground, just doesn't look the best from the screen.
Now, as they make their way out onto the field, it seems like there's been a few changes already before they've taken to the pitch. Sam Talakai leading out the Rebels in jersey number 18. So it looks like Pone Famastili, I'm not sure if it's been a late withdrawal during the warm-up or he's going to be playing the second half instead, but there's one change right there already. So Sammy T leading the men out to be captain for the Rebels today. As the referee blows the whistle to get us underway, and the Reds will have the kickoff and opt to go long straight away to that man Talatasi with the first carry of the game, and he goes crunching up to the 22. Ruru at the base of the ruck looking for a forward runner. Nazarani with the first carry of the game, crunching it up, bounces out of a tackle, gets the offload away, and they start to swing it early. Second man play out the back, Billy Meeks gets chopped down 15 metres in from touch on the 22. Ruru options, right and left. He goes to the right and finds Brad Wilkin, the recruit from the Waratahs. And slowed the break down a little bit here so that Ruru can set himself for the box kick. And Hegarty will be tested early. Takes it very safely. and perhaps tackled a little bit too early in the air there, Neil.
Yeah, you can see just a little bit of eagerness from the Rebels, which is good to see, but good defense, good take by Hegarty with that first kick of the game.
So, yeah, happy to throw it around a little bit, the Rebels, inside their own quarter. And Hamish Stewart with the long arm penalty opts to go to touch. Now, if they kept that in, well, he's failed to find touch here, so the Rebels will have a chance to run it, but instead they opt to kick, and Hegarty with a chance to counter-attack here. Works it infield to Sorovi. Sorovi takes the tackle inside the 22, so great field position early here for the Queensland Reds. No one at the base of the ruck, so it's very slow ball coming out, and Paenga Ramosa takes the carry into the middle of the field. Sorovi options left and right. Very slow ball. Stewart with the wide cut. Timu on the left edge, gets the offload away, and the Reds have it 15 metres out from the Rebels' try line in the second minute of the game. Nice tip pass to the two front rowers. Paenga Ramosa finds Smith with the short ball. Stewart. Crunching up in midfield is Lucan Salakaya Lotto. Sorovi goes down the right. Timu with another offload, and Quade Cooper saves the day with the tackle over the top. But playing advantage there for what looks like not rolling away or hands in the ruck. So the Reds will get a penalty 15 metres out in front of the black dot. Do you take the 3 here, Neil?
Oh, not in a trial match this early in the season. I think elected for the scrum, which you'd like to see your front row really get that opportunity to get their legs underneath them with only 2 or 3 preseason matches left before the regular season starts in early March.
As many opportunities for set piece as possible, you think the orders of the day would be from Coach Brad Thorne. And that's what they've decided here. They're going for a scrum in the middle of the field. The Reds have split 4-2, 4 backs on the left, 2 on the right. Hegarty, first receiver on the right with that danger man, Daugunu. Rebels defending 3-3. And perhaps predictably, first scrum of the game.
Going for the reset.
Going for the reset. Wouldn't be a trial game without a few scrum resets, would it? So a great matchup here in the front row. As I said, Sam Talakai will be starting in place of Pone Farmasili. So it'll be a front row of Sanga, Rangi and Talakai for the Rebels, up against Fotueku, Paenga Amosa and Ruan Smith for the Reds. Much more stable on that occasion. Sorovi goes to the left. Flat pass finds Stewart. Stewart takes it to the line. Chopped down by Ruru. 10 metres out. Coming around the corner. They go second time. Veoe Sortia with the strong carry. They're about 8 metres short of the line. On the hard line. There is Salakaya Lotto. Looking for another forward runner with the inside ball. And there's a slight knock on there. With the try line in sight, Neil, let the Rebels off the hook there, haven't they, the Reds?
Yeah, the Rebels are coming out with some decent pressure, but there didn't seem to be any much of an error there from the Reds. So let's see if they can regroup and score next time when they're down in this zone. But it should be an easy clearance for the Rebels.
So they're aligning with, looks like Billy Meek standing a little bit flat here for the Rebels. Possibly a crash up option on the first phase before finding Quade on the second with the kick. Deep in the backfield is Bryce Hegarty on his side of halfway. The breeze at the moment is coming towards the camera, so perhaps not facing, or perhaps not too much of an advantage to one team more than the other at the moment. Another scrum reset early on, as both front rows are still feeling each other out a little bit here. Nil-nil. Bit of a crowd building as well here in Ballarat, and it's fantastic that regional towns are able to see these sorts of matches, Neil.
Yeah, you see it a lot in the AFL, this stadium itself hosting the Western Bulldogs last season, but it's great to see regional rugby blossom out here in Ballarat and in the regions. I know the Victorian Rugby Union, or Rugby Victoria I should say, do a really good job trying to get out to these regions, so it's good to see rugby in Ballarat. Ruru with the feed. Scrappy ball at the back for him, and
The referee has no option but to award the long arm to the Reds. Timu thought about the quick tap and then perhaps thought better off it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another scrum reset here from the Reds after a little bit of early dominance in the set piece from them.
Yeah, they should really take confidence from that scrum. The Rebels really looked off their feet on that one.
Instead, Hamish Stewart opts to kick for the sideline, so they'll have another incredible opportunity. 5 metre line out for the Reds, and it's been all Reds at the moment. We haven't even been to their half of the field. So incredible defensive pressure being applied to the Rebels, and it doesn't get much tougher than a 5 metre defensive line out either.
I think they like an easy quick line up. Yeah, there's the quick line. Bobbled up in the front.
And Coach Thorne won't be happy with that. First line out off the game, and there's been a fumble at the front. I fancy that was Salakaya Lotto with the fumble. Great pressure put up at the front from the Rebels, from Big Matty Phillip. So immediately they've been let off the hook, but we find ourselves in the same situation we were 2 minutes ago. Rebels scrum 5 metres out from their own try line. And, well, they weren't incredibly effective with their clearance last time. Let's see if they can do a little bit better on this occasion, Neil.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that front row dig in, secure that ball quickly, and get out to a quick crash play and set up the clearance kick.
As I say that, Billy Meek stands a little bit flatter than the rest of the back line, perhaps in anticipation of that crash ball, as you've said. Again, that scrum looks like it's on skates, and Izzy Nazarani is forced to pick up from the back of the scrum before it's scooped on by the Reds. Standing in the pocket is Cooper, and he skied that kick there, perhaps a sign of a little bit of the breeze that's coming across the field at the moment.
It's definitely pushing towards the camera. You can see that it did hang up there a bit. Probably not Quaid's best kick, but hopefully it'll smooth out throughout the game.
Yet another line-out opportunity. Have they learnt their lessons from the first one, the Reds? This time they opt to go to the back. And as they do, Scott Young secures possession and they get the maul going. They've worked it to about 8 metres off the line. Luke Jones snaking his way through the middle of that maul, trying to get to the back and put pressure on Sorovi. And he might have done a good job here of tying up the ball, because that collapsed maul will result in a scrum put in to the Rebels.
Yeah, that was well fought. It was good defense on that maul.
I fancy it was Luke Jones who made his way through the centre of that maul and put an end to what was an imperious defensive maul from the Reds. And as I say that, they're just having a bit of a chin wag together, the forward pack from the Rebels, perhaps addressing some of the concerns around scrum time at the moment.
Now this is Luke Jones' return to Super Rugby?
That's right, been in France for the last 2 seasons. Of course, played a few seasons with the Rebels early on in the club's history, and hailed as something as a prodigal son in the off-season when he made the decision to return to Melbourne as Ruru feeds. Quick channel ball straight to the back, and that's a better effort this time from the Rebels. They opt to go down the short side. Quade Cooper with a cheeky little chip kick for Samisi Tupou. Well gathered there by the new man Hegarty, and Hegarty secures possession for the Reds. Stewart, long cut out to Daugunu, and we know how dangerous this guy is in space. Stewart puts the kick in behind Tautasi, and that'll find touch about 18 metres out from the Rebels' line. But an interesting option there from Cooper to go with the chip kick on the exit on that occasion.
Yeah, you'd like to think that Vessels is trying to create a little bit of magic and letting the Rebels run a few plays with some high risk, high reward in this trial match.
That certainly is something that Quaid does bring to the team. Anaru Rungi, first row of the game, looks for the big Matt Phillip, who gets 1 mid in the air and somehow manages to get a tap back to Michael Ruru.
Yeah, well done to tap that back and secure the ball.
Setting for the box is Ruru. Puts it high. Daugunu underneath it. Quade Cooper chasing to contest, but it goes out on the full. No option of the quick throw there for Daugunu. So the Reds will have the line out 41 metres out from the Rebels line and still yet to get in the Reds half of the field.
Yeah, you can see the first 10 minutes really for the Reds territory. Stick it in the Rebels half for most of the first game.
They go long to Salakaya Lotto. Off the back they go. Timu with the carry, crunching it up. Coming around the corner, Payanga Omosu gets the tap on to Hamish Stewart. Stewart wrapped up quickly. Rangi coming over the ball there, and I fancy he might have stolen it. Very slow with the turnover though, the Rebels. Cooper thinks about the kick, puts a chip in. And there he finds Ruru, and well, opportunity goes begging there for the Rebels.
Something you'd like to see though, giving that opportunity to Quaid to connect with Ruru on that little chip over the two centers flying in on defense.
So they've managed to advance it over halfway as one of the players goes down on his haunches, just doing up the shoelaces. I think Brad Wilkin is there. Of course, Brad Wilkin, a bit of a late recruit to the Rebels by way of the Waratahs. Spent some time early on, in fact, with the Australian Sevens program. But down here in Melbourne now, fighting for that number 7 jersey, along with the likes of Angus Cottrell, Richard Hardwick, just to name a few. Plenty of back row depth this year in the Rebel squad. As Sorovi gets down to feed for the Reds. Good shove coming from the Rebels. They managed to get it clear though. Second man play out the back founds Daugunu, but he's wrapped up by Meeks very quickly. Salakai Lotto with the carry. Coming around the corner again. A little bit slow was Fotueka, and barely making a dent in this blue wall at the moment. And with that in mind, Sorovi goes for the high ball. Contesting that. Tautau Latasi gets it to Meeks. Can he get the offload away? No, he can't. But the Rebels, chance to counter-attack here down the short side. Cooper can't beat the first man, and he's wrapped up immediately. Rangi with the hard line, crashing it in, and gets picked up by Smith straight away. Meeks at first receiver, finds Wilkin. Wilkin advances it to the 40. Quick pick and go there from Luke Jones. Ruru digging at the base of the ruck. Finds Quade Cooper with cheeky little chip kick for Samisi Tupou. Interesting if it stays in here. It does, and Hegarty saves the day at the last moment. Manages to get a kick downfield, and Cooper will collect the ball on his side of halfway. Long raking kick to the left touchline, and he might have put a little bit too much sauce on that one. And it sits up perfectly, 30 centimetres from the dead ball line.
Just enough.
And his counterpart, Hamish Stewart, can only watch on as he's forced to place the ball down and get the 22. Of course, that's an intriguing battle in itself. Master and apprentice, Hamish Stewart, Quade Cooper. The one-time leader of the Reds versus, well, a man tipped to be there in the number 10 jersey for the Reds for quite a long time, Hamish Stewart. Long kick there, goes about 60 metres and finds that man, Quade Cooper. Cooper puts it to the skies. Here comes Tautau Latasi again to contest. Well taken by Daugunu. So the Reds will have it 15 metres in from the right touchline. Tip pass there between the two forwards as the Reds struck it into the middle of the field. Sorovi, he's got Stewart in the pocket, or he can go for the box kick himself. He opts for the box. And Walker, not so safe under the high ball on this occasion, so they'll be playing advantage to the Reds after the knock-on. The pill was a little bit slow coming out, so referee will blow it up. And you could just see there how much that high ball held up in the wind, Neil.
Yeah, and it's really playing on the fitness of each team and getting the 15 minutes into this match. We'll see what that has in store for both teams, and whose fitness is much better early on in this very, very early part of the season.
And as we say that, it appears as though Rangi has gone down with might be a bit of a shoulder complaint, and I just wonder, Neil, if it's, as you say, more of an opportunity to get a breather this early in the season than it is anything serious with his shoulder. Yeah. So the score's at 0-0 after 15 minutes here in beautiful Ballarat, and can't quite see it from the camera angle we've got here, but a bit of a decent crowd building, Neil, in the stands.
Yeah, I'd like to think it's gone over 1,000 now. The stands right below us have been really filling up as they have the best view of the rugby pitch on this footy ground. So yeah, you can really see over on the side as he pans through it, but really filling up, and really great to see that, you know, that regional community getting behind rugby union down here in Victoria.
Of course, earlier today they had the Little Rebels Clinic out on Mars Stadium itself. All of the local Ballarat kids invited to have an open training session run by Rugby Victoria, and a strong rugby presence here. Perhaps not the most traditional place to find rugby in Australia, but nevertheless there's about 150 kids running around on the field pre-game, getting a few clinics from, I think it was Jermaine Ainsley, Rebels and Wallabies prop, running the show down there. King of the kids today, Neil.
Yeah, you got to thank Ballarat Rugby Club for sending out their supporters and players and staff and coaches.
So, game on. Sorovi with the scrum feed on halfway. 5-1 split. 5 backs for the Reds on the left-hand side of the scrum. They get the second shove on. Very good scrum indeed. They're just keen to hold it at the back and draw the penalty. And that was very good footwork there from Timu at the back to hold it in and get that advantage. So, an opportunity here for Hegarty to find touch close to the Rebels try line and perhaps give that rolling maul another opportunity.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the tight head Ron Smith of the Reds. He's been really anchoring that scrum and allowing it to dominate the way it has.
Touch found about 18 metres out as Paenga Amosa picks up the ball. Full line out here for the Reds. They go straight to Timu out the front. Sorovi, flat ball. And making their way up to the 22 here. Slowing it down very well is Luke Jones at the ruck as Salakaya Loto takes the carry. Stewart, short ball around the corner, finds his hooker, Paenga Amosa. Options left and right, but not paying enough attention at the breakdown on this occasion, the Reds. So the Rebels will draw the penalty, and it's that man, Rob Leota, who's getting the bum taps from his teammates. Very strong over the ball on that occasion, and saves the day for the Rebels. Interesting story, Rob Leota missed most of the last 2 seasons after debuting as an 18-year-old against the Canterbury Crusaders 2 years ago. Back-to-back major knee injuries, and this is his first outing in a Rebels jersey in about 2.5 years, I believe.
Yeah, it's great to see him out there. He's in for a place for Richard Hardwick and flanker.
I think Hardwick, I'm not sure if Hardwick's was withdrawn pre-game or he's just going to play the second half, but wasn't named to start Leota, but he comes on nevertheless. Cooper, first receiver, finds a flat, hard-running Izzy Nazarani who gets it over the A-line. They come back down the short side, and offside was Duncan Payawa. Very lazy getting back onside there, so it'll be a penalty to the Rebels. And just on the red side of halfway, Quade Cooper will be in a position to give the Rebels some good territory here as he kicks to touch. And it's the first real set-piece opportunity that the Rebels have actually had in any attacking position today, Neil.
Yeah, it was great to see Ruru really smart off the ball and quick there, and let's see if that formulates to something deep in the 22. Again, first opportunity, so let's see if some of that magic comes out.
So they've got a full line out here, the Rebels, sending all their men in. Options in Phillip, Jones, and it looks like Nazarani at the back is the third option. They go to the middle through a big Matty Phillip and set up the maul. Rungy gets his hands on it at the back. It's disintegrated pretty quickly though, but Ruru's able to get his hands on it and get it out. So they find Meeks with the carry. Second man play out the back finds Cooper. Loose pass is a bit wild, but it matters little because the Reds were penalised for pulling down the maul. So, interesting decision here. 15 metres out, from the try line, about 10 metres in from touch. Scrum or line out. Ruru.
I think you would like for the line out. Yep.
Yeah. As you say, Neil. Ruru assumes the kicking duties and puts it into touch. And another opportunity for this maul, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd like to see it go back to Matty Phillip. He did that really well last year. Really came on the scene for the Rebels in the 2018 season.
Well, they've matched up Salakaya Loto this time against Matty Phillip, but they don't contest. Easy win for Phillip, and Rangi gets his hands on the ball at the back. Going sideways a little bit here, but slowly they're starting to advance it closer to the line. About 3 metres short. Ruru with the short ball finds Meeks. Bounces out of one. Meeks! How do you like that, says Billy Meeks. And the Ballarat crowd have got something to cheer about.
You got to admire Billy Meeks' footwork on that one. He really keeps his drive forward, spinning down, getting low to the ground, and putting that down for the try.
Had no reason to score that, Meeks. He was in an area contained by about 3 Reds defenders, but as you say, stayed on his feet, kept the leg drive going, and although he will be credited with the try, put that one down to the forwards. 2 great back-to-back rolling mauls, which really hurt the Reds there. And it just shows you what a bit of field position can actually do.
Yeah, excellent job by the Rebels the first time in the 22.
That's the ruthless efficiency I think Coach Vessels would be looking for when you make it into the 22.
Yes, definitely looking for those opportunities, looking to pounce on something when you see it. We'll see Quaid's first kick as a Rebel, and see how he lines up left of the uprights.
Probably not the easiest kick with this breeze, which has just picked up a little bit. Coming towards the post, so you'd think a little bit of right to left action here. As Cooper looks to add his first points as a Melbourne Rebel, and he's nailed it. That probably got a bigger roar than the actual try, Neil.
Yeah, the crowd was loving that kick. I mean, an AFL town, but definitely slotted that right through the uprights. Great kick by Quade Cooper.
So the referees have taken the opportunity to call quarter time in this match, and the Rebels 7 lead the Queensland Reds 0. And we're back for the second quarter. Melbourne Rebels 7, Reds 0, as the new man, Bryce Hegarty, gets us underway. Goes long and high to the right, and Tautau-Tasi with the fumble. So it'll be an immediate turnover for the Reds.
That's now 2 kicks the Rebels have missed.
As it looks like Maafu might be on as a replacement hooker. As Salakaya Loto gets bundled into touch. Making amends is that man again, Tautau-Tasi, in tandem with Izzy Nazarani. So the Rebels will get some respite from that fumble off the kickoff. Line-out's been pretty solid today from the Rebels. I don't think they've missed one, with the exception of the first one. They did win, but it just wasn't clean ball for Ruru. They go to the front through Brad Wilkin, and Wilkin takes it rather easily. Setting up for the box kick is Ruru. Nice and high, and Dalguna, who's going to have a tough one here in the sun. And you got a bit of an indication there where the sun meets the shadow. It can be a little bit off-putting for wingers in that situation.
Yeah, and the referee had to look to the sidelines for that call, but the AR was right there to call the knock-on. Perfectly
placed kick. It's always a tough one when you're standing in the shadow as a wing, and you've got to take a catch millimetres into that sunlight. That no doubt had some effect on Dalguna, who's been pretty safe, it must be said, today under the high ball so far. So the Rebels with another opportunity at scrum time. Ben Daly has taken the field, a former Red himself. In fact, both props, Talakai and Daly for the Rebels, former Reds men. So a bit of chat being had, no doubt, in the front row today.
Yeah, those changes. See how those changes affect the scrum this time. Much better on that scrum for the Rebels.
Cooper, wide ball, finds Tommy English. Tommy English bounces over Fiaway Sortia, and they get another wide pass to Samisi Tupou, the 20-year-old. On the loop is Cooper. Cooper tries to fend off Stewart, gets the offload away instead. And going backwards is Ruru, hitting a big shot. Cooper goes to half. Luke Jones cut out. Second man play finds Meeks. Meeks to Leota. Rangi. Here's Walker. Bodine Walker gets the offload off the deck, and it's scrappy ball, so there'll be a knock-on advantage here for the Reds. But a willingness to shift the ball early there from the Rebels.
Yeah, they're looking to go quick to the wide side and using Rangi as that man to spring the outside backs. Good to see that creativity coming this early in the season, but just a little bit too much sauce on that last pass.
That's right. Well, you can't fault them for being a little bit creative today. Certainly what the crowd wants. As Sorovi will feed the scrum for the Reds here. So there's been a couple of changes, and we'll try to call them out for you as we see them, folks. But it looks at the moment as though Daly is on at prop. Rob Leota still packing down as the blindside flanker for the Rebels. I think the only change at present for the Reds is in the hooking position, where Ma'afu comes on for Payenga Amosa. As Sorovi feeds. Rock solid scrum there from the Reds. Stewart wasn't expecting it. I think it was meant to go to Payawa on that occasion. Coming around the corner is Hawkins, who appears to be another substitute. Hitting the hard line there is Payawa, who gets it over the 40. Sorovi finds Hegarty. Probably not the best man to be crashing it up. One wide of the ruck. And they go left again. Continually coming around the corner. Sorovi options left and right. He finds Luca, the new man, in jersey number 18. Payawa with the cut finds the big Salakaya Lotto crashing it up. And they've held it for about 6 phases but haven't made much territory, so Payawa opts to kick. And Walker here is going to have to do a bit of tightening up and moves to his less favoured left boot. Payawa, well, that didn't go 5, that quick throw. But play on, nevertheless. Fiaway Sortia crashing it up in the middle of the field. Held high in the tackle by Nazarani, so the Reds have got options left and right. Sorovi comes back down the right side. Show and go. Couldn't quite get the offload away, but he was looking. Timu on this occasion. We know how good his offloads are, and on that occasion it was a little bit loose, but they've managed to recover it, the Reds. Bly standing at the base of the ruck. Gives a little tip pass to that new man, Luca. And they're edging their way towards the 22. The Queensland Reds, as Hamish Stewart has got a backline set on the left here. And this is where they go. Second man play out the back. And they've found the unmarked man on the wing, who looks like Jock Campbell, who advances it inside the 22. Payawa again with the carry. Sorovi straight back down the short side, finds Stewart. And Stewart is held up high in the tackle. Manages to get it to ground, but it's taken a little bit of a while. And the Rebels have done a good job of slowing it up. Tip pass there finds the new man, Ma'afu.
Great to see the Reds string together 10 phases so far.
Longest passage of play they've had so far, and Wilkin with the big hit forces the turnover. Playing advantage here. Big Matty Phillip goes for a charge and avoids the first collision to go an extra 4 metres post-contact. Ruru here opts to box kick it and see if he can clear the head of Daugunu. Not successful on this occasion, so Daugunu will get an opportunity to counter-ruck. Hit hard by Meeks on the Rebels side of halfway. So Sorovi, 8 metres in from touch, finds the new man, Ma'afu. Good clean out there by Hawkins. And slow ball here, so he might consider kicking it. And that's what they do. Puts up another high ball, which he's done very well today. And Cooper has fumbled it. Well, it's not the first high ball we've seen drop today, Neil.
No, but you'd think Quaid would have that one. He was in the shadows. It was far. The ball was long gone into the shadows, and just feeling that little bit of pressure in his first game as a Rebel.
Right in front of the Reds bench as well. So, yeah, no doubt a few words being spoken there.
You could hear them down there cheering and jeering, as we like to say in Canada.
As the Toronto Arrows no doubt say. So a little bit of attention being given to Benny Daly, the Rebels prop. And he's been taken off the field. He hasn't been on too long, so doctors perhaps taking a little bit of precaution there.
Don't know if it's blood bin or not. Usually wears the scrum cap and it is off, so
that could be what it's about. So, replacement being made. And apologies, folks, we don't have all the numbers handed to us as yet, but it does look like coming on is Gibbon for the Rebels, who'll be packing down loose head prop.
Yeah, that's Matt Gibbon on. Over on the loose head. Let's see if that makes a difference. The Red scrum and their put-in has been really, really solid to date.
Yeah, they haven't looked under too much pressure on their own feed.
Yeah.
As I say that, scrum goes down on the near side.
Seems to be typical with the new front row replacement that the reset would happen straight away.
That's right. Well, you've got the new men out there in Luca and Gibbon. So I think we've recycled already through about 9 front rowers this game already in the just the 29th minute. So there'll be plenty of opportunities today. We're not playing this game under traditional Super Rugby laws, I guess you could say. So rolling substitutions. If there are yellow cards today, and we hope there aren't, Neil, the team that is yellow carded is allowed to replace the man who's been sent off. So there'll always be 15 on 15. Scrum win there. Tight head by the Rebels, and chance to counter-attack through Tom English. Links up with his centre partner Billy Meeks, who advances it up to halfway. Rush up quick on Quade Cooper, who's looking for the offload, finds it, and Tommy English with the carry gets hit in a hard tackle. And great line there from Luke Jones, who spots half the gap. They've got numbers on the left here if they want to use it. Crossfield kick. Looking for Tautalatasi, and there's that old Brisbane Souths combination of Cooper and Tautalatasi. Spent a season together last year, Neil, in the Brisbane competition.
Yeah, it's great to see that they're trying to get some chemistry going. Definitely a play that's not seen north in my border, at least in Canada. So it's great to see that creativity from Quaid connecting with his old teammate last year.
So, a new man, Ma'afu, tasked with the line-out throw here for the Reds. And he's got big Harry Hawkins in the middle. Goes to the front, Caleb Tumu. Stewart with the flat pass, and that is incredibly quick defence. And Cooper defending in the front line today, shutting down his opposite number Hamish Stewart. But they've been penalised for not rolling away, and I fancy that may be a Billy Meeks who is being given a harsh word by the referee there. But got his body behind that tackle, didn't he, Quaid?
It's good to see both teams actually have had really good discipline and line speed. Not one penalty for offside, so it's good to see early on in this preseason.
It'll be interesting to see how long that line speed stays. That for what is, for many of these players, first game of the season. And they might be on top of the speed of the match now, but come the 75th minute of the game, it might be a very different story. As the Reds go long, and scrappy ball, but Tate McDermott comes away with it, and he is hit high in a tackle. And Quade Cooper has held him up here. I'm not sure if he's managed to get to deck. He has, eventually. So the Reds will come away with possession. Great counter up coming there from the new man Gibbon and his prop partner Talakai. And I think it might have resulted in a turnover. And they go straight away with the box kick through Ruru. Tautelatasi chasing hard on Dalgunu. But will it be a little bit too long, that kick? Not on this occasion. Wild pass for Hegarty. And Dalgunu shows his fancy footwork to break 1, 2, 3 tackles, eventually brought down by Luke Jones, and a wayward pass lands in the hands of Sam Talakai. So the Rebels will have the ball with the turnover 40 metres out. Wilkin with the charge on this occasion. Ruru looking left and right, demanding that his forwards get around the corner, and Nazarani gets chopped down nice and quick. They go right again through big Luke Jones, and Luke Jones gets a quick recycle. He wanted the pick and go there, big Matty Phillip, and he picks up an extra 3 metres for his team. They got numbers on the right. Short ball from Cooper, and English is thumped in a big tackle by Salakaya Lotto. Rangi thought about the tip pass, opted against it. Ruru finds Meeks. Short ball finds Talakai. And they go left. Cooper with front foot ball. English, 2-on-1. Tautelatasi, 1 man to beat. And Hegarty does a very good job of knocking him down. Flat pass finds Matty Phillip. The big second rower goes charging into the line. Flat-footed on this occasion is Gibbon, but I think Hamish Stewart's down in back play. Tried to make the tackle on Gibbon, and he's hurt now. So short ball as we follow play. Rangi with the carry on this occasion as Hamish Stewart is still down in back play, getting some attention. Quade Cooper with the dancing feet. Tackled. I'm not sure he's managed to get that ball back, and I fancy that might be Liam Wright over the ball with the strong jackal on that occasion, but the referee was playing advantage. So, after that breathless passage of play, they're going to pause the game for a moment. A lot of attention being shown here for Hamish Stewart, who rushed out of the line to make a hit and came off second best and being tended to by the doctors here. So a lot of concern being shown for the young number 10 from Queensland.
Yeah, it looks like Gibbon just got him, maybe even a stinger on the shoulder, but yeah, really took a big hit. Gibbon bounced off and kept going.
Score 7-0. The Rebels observed, well, pretty much the entire opening 20 minutes inside their own quarter. They were camped in there. Reds had a lot of possession, probably about 5 separate set-piece opportunities for the Rebs inside the opening quarter, inside the Rebels' 20, unable to convert any of them into tries. The Rebels only made 1 visit to the opposition 22 in the opening stanza, and they came away with 7 points, courtesy of a Billy Meeks try off the back of a rolling maul. Conversion by one Quade Cooper, which brings the scores to 7-0. And in the second quarter of the game, well, the arm wrestle probably favouring the Rebels, it must be said.
Yeah, possession is definitely tilted to the Rebels on this one. We'll see what they do with this kick from the offside penalty.
So they've got the option, penalty on the 22, directly in front of the black dot. They're shaping to kick to touch, but I think Cooper's asking if he can kick to the right touchline instead of the left, but the forwards are all meandering to the left side of the field. So that's where Cooper's forced to kick. And, well, he's thumped it out. Bang on the 5-metre line. Forwards can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, the forwards better reward that kick. asking him to go to the longer side of the field.
So Rob Leota will start the line out in the halfback position. They go straight to the middle to Matty Phillip. And a great counter shove to start with from the Revs. But as we saw before, it peeled off to the right, and the Rebels get within 2 metres of the line. So the forwards will take it upon themselves. Talakai at the base of the ruck. Gets a tip pass to Nazarani. 3 metres short. Luke Jones breaks through the first tackle, and he's just short of the Yakult goalpost pad. And penalised for holding on, I fancy.
Just one extra movement on that, too much, and just put him in a position where he was reaching out for the line and instead didn't release it in time.
So Luke Jones, the offending character on that occasion, but he did get awfully close to that goalpost pad. Hegarty with an opportunity to relieve some pressure for the Reds, but can only find it as far as the 30 metres. And as I say that, the blue wave descends on the field. It looks like we've got about 13 substitutions being made all at once for the Rebels. So this will be an interesting period trying to call this, Neil.
Yeah, literally a changing of the guard, so bear with us as we figure out who is now on the pitch. Harrison Goddard in at 9, that's for sure. You can see him standing tall at the front of that lineout.
Salakaya Lotto takes the ball for the Reds, and they've choked it up high in the tackle here. And it looks like big Trevor Hosea has held the ball up, so it might be a little bit difficult for the Reds to get that ball out of the maul here. Good counter shove coming nevertheless. And big Sam Jeffries comes away with it from the Rebels, so there's been a turnover straight away from this new look Rebels 15 as Hugh Roach goes charging. And Stu Dunbar passing it out the back. Walker, literally the only Rebel who's still on the field from the opening stanza. Big Trevor Hosea with the carry. Takes it up to the 22. Harrison Goddard goes down the short side. And looks like they've got Hasilla, the 19-year-old club player from Melbourne, who's been tackled. Penalty awarded. High shot there. So the Rebels will have another opportunity to go to their maul. But for that substitute pack, first maul defence, to be able to turn it around and get the steal through Sam Jeffries, that's something.
Yeah, it was great to see right off the bench. It was almost just a wave, and just 2 or 3 of them just went together, and Jeffries came away with the ball. It'll be interesting. The Reds do have a shorter bench, so it is important to note that they do have a little bit of a shorter bench than the Rebels do. But a few changes for the Reds is their front row, and a few of their back row have been switched out as well.
That's right. The Rebels came today with 35 players, so quite a large squad indeed. The Reds, I think, have only brought 25 here today, so quite a significant difference as the Rebels attempt this maul. They've got it at the back, about 5 metres short. Harrison Goddard playing the role of the shepherd, guiding the sheep towards the try line, and they're over for their second try of the day. And that maul, once again, has proven the Achilles heel for the Queensland Reds.
Yeah, Gerard, as you could see them pushing that second wave of energy, they just pushed over, and I don't know whether that's fitness for the Reds or not, but the Rebels really did band together on that one and pushed it over in that second wave. Great team forward try for that one.
You're absolutely right. Only 2 substitutions being made so far for the Reds. And the 37th minute of the game, they're going to be pretty tired for a lot of these guys playing their first trial. So you would expect it to be pretty hard to defend them all that far out late in the shadows of half-time. And this refreshed pack, literally 14 changes were made at the 35-minute mark of this game. So an entirely new Rebels team is out on the field at the moment. And the coach's box next to me of the Rebels, not getting too carried away. You would have thought there'd be a few high fives, but nope, no one's standing up, no one's cheering. They know there's a lot more hard work to be put in before the result is secured here today, as it looks like Waka will be taking the conversion attempt at goal. and off the post it goes to the left. So the scores will remain at 12-0. I don't think we'll be able to get a name for you folks for that try scorer. I'll tell you what, we'll put a little dash next to all of the forwards on the park because I think they all deserved a little bit of a pat on the back for that effort. Hegarty. He's gone long to the right on every occasion today, and that's where he goes again with this restart. He's gone over the head of the would-be jumper Jeffries. Goddard looking for the ball. Finds it at the base, and they go for the box kick straight away. Timu underneath it. He wasn't sure if it was for him or Stewart to make that catch, though. Good thing he did take it, though, because that's a very strong carry. He's taken about 4 men to get him to ground. Looking to the right is the new man, Tate McDermott, who's on for Sorovi at scrum half. They go to the right again. McDermott gets hit hard. Payawa goes into acting half and he finds Ma'afu with the carry. Crawling his way forward, and a cheeky pick and go is Duncan Payawa, 1 man to beat, puts on the step, brushes off Dunbar, and Duncan Payawa crosses the chalk for the Reds.
Great individual effort on that one. Kept his feet, quick ball, little shake and bake, made it to the line, scored that try.
Right on half-time, the final play, Duncan Payawa has pulled something out of the top drawer, that cheeky little pick and go, which you don't expect to see from too many backs, it must be said, and I think that's what caught those guard defenders from the Rebels off.
Yeah, I just saw the gap, and with that switch and that full 13 or 14 player sub, you see the Rebels defense trying to figure itself out, trying to talk, trying to get through it, but got through that hole and really picked a moment to strike.
And just showing you there what he can do when he gets into broken play as well. Put a nice little move on the Rebels backfield as well. So that'll make things a little bit interesting here as Hegarty adds 2 extra points to the score. So that'll be half-time, folks, and it's the Rebels who lead 12 points to 7 here in sunny Ballarat in this trial game between the Queensland Reds and the Melbourne Rebels. We'll be back in just a short moment after these messages. 12 points to 7, the Rebels lead the Reds at halftime in this trial match down here in beautiful Ballarat, regional Victoria. I'm joined up here in the commentary box by Tommy Mitchell, Reds media man, and, well, I must say, a lot of new faces out there for the Reds. What would the message be at halftime from the coach?
Yeah, look, mate, I think there's a lot of new faces out there, but I think all in all, it's been a really great first half for the boys out there. A lot of things going right. I think defence has been on point. Our first contacts were really good. Look, 2 tries off a rolling maul down there. Yeah, that's a bit soft. We can look at that. But look, all in all, I think a lot of players are getting a lot of good first touches, really sort of, putting through what they've been, I guess, putting in the hard work there in pre-season training, and it's all sort of coming to fruition. Look, they're getting ball in hand, they're running, a lot of sort of kicking, which we've been sort of working on with our kicking coach Dave Allwood, who's come in. Peter Ryan, our defence coach, has been really, really happy with that. Like I said, that real first point contact in defence. Look, I think all in all, 12-7 at half time. We can't really argue about that, mate. Yeah.
A chance to come down to an area that most Super Rugby teams don't traditionally get to visit, Ballarat. I know you've been here a couple of days now and you don't fly out until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience down here.
In a word, cold. It's been very chilly. I think a lot of the lads, including myself, we didn't pack jumpers or hoodies, so we've had to do a mad dash to Target this morning to buy some hoodies and jumpers, so it has been a bit fresh. We're all sort of walking around in T-shirt, thongs and shorts. But look, apart from that, it's a beautiful country town. It's a great opportunity for, I think, all of us to sort of experience, a place where a lot of us, if not all of us, have never been before. It's a great historical town, beautiful town, and it's great to sort of visit these regional centres.
Absolutely. One of the best things about trials as well, I suppose, besides getting to come to beautiful places like Ballarat, the opportunity to cast your eye over the next generation of superstars. And we're obviously familiar with some of the well-known guys in the Reds, but can you give us the name of 1 or 2 players who we should keep an eye out for in this second half in particular, as the coaches start to give a few more opportunities to the development players? Yeah,
sure. Look, I think One player who sticks out for us is the flanker Fraser McWright. He had a very outstanding season in the NRC, and then I can tell you during the pre-season he has been leading the charge. He is one to watch there in the back row. Look, in the front row, Fial Fotuaika is another boy. I can tell you he's dropped 17 kgs in the space of 2 months. He was playing Brisbane City in the NRC, but now he's trimmed down to under 120 kgs. So, yeah, Fial's looking very good at the moment. As for some other guys you may not know of, Jock Campbell, he has also come through our Queensland pathway. A lot of these blokes, like I said, there's 10 in total, sort of newbies, I guess you could say, sort of out here in a Reds jersey this evening. 10 of those have all come through our Queensland pathway, so that's either club rugby, NRC, schoolboys, 16s, Queensland, you name it. So there's a lot of young talent which is coming through, and then it's balanced with some great experience in the likes of Brandon Paenga-Ramosa, Luke Unsalakaya-Lotto, Caleb Timu, who has the C next to his name, which is the big show, as he's called, amongst the playing squad. So very, very respectful there, mate.
I was going to ask about Timu and the captaincy. Is that something that we can expect to see from time to time throughout the season if something is to happen to Samu? Is it more like a bit of an experiment today to see how that sort of leadership works?
Well, look, I think, Caleb on a whole is a leader amongst the group. Samu, who is our skipper this year, obviously being rested. But look, I would dare say, Caleb sort of within that sort of forward pack alongside Isaac Rodder, who's also being rested for this match. But you can expect Caleb, Rodder, also Scott Higginbotham, who was, of course, the skipper last year, to also play a big leadership part. But I think on a whole, the players, it is a real team-driven, a real sort of, player-first approach that the boys are taking this year. And it's sort of not just having the one leader out there, it's everyone leading as a whole.
Now, I've got to ask, coming up against the likes of Quade Cooper, former Red today, it must have been spoken about at some point in the last few days down here in Ballarat, whether that's in an official team meeting or even just by the pool with the lads. How much has his name been mentioned around the team camp?
Mate, it has a little bit, but look, I'll be honest, it honestly hasn't. We have been focused really on this whole pre-season as a whole and then this trial match, and it's a chance for us to put everything together. Look, Quaid, coming up against him, he's got a lot of friends here, but for us, we're just focusing on the game at hand, mate, as they take the field for the second half.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot for your time, Tommy Mitchell.
Pleasure, mate.
And you're absolutely right. The Rebels have returned to the field, and it looks like they've got the team that finished the second quarter back out there. So a lot of the development players now with some pretty high numbers as well. I think I spotted a 34 out there. So I don't think there are too many rugby teams where you've got a number 34 jersey running around.
No. Oh, well, I thought we were only having a 28-man squad, but...
Our home, our rules.
All right. All right, fair enough. Well, we've got our 28 as our boys take the field, led by Scott Higginbotham there, the skipper last year. Behind him, Fial Fotuaika, Angus Scott Young, Brandon Paenga-Ramosa, Isaac Lucas onto the field there, Tate McDermott, Jock Campbell, Duncan Paiawa, Chris Faiwa-Sorti, Teddy Teller. Looks like we've got Adam Korchek there in the 28 jersey, or the 26. My eyes aren't quite as good up here. I'm not that old yet.
So it'll be Bodine Walker to get us underway in the second half as Tommy Mitchell leaves us and Toronto Neal comes back into the box. Second half about to get underway. Rebels lead 12-7 at the break, courtesy of tries to Billy Meeks and an unknown forward at the base of a rolling maul. And long to the right they go. And I'm just getting confirmation up here from one of the Rebels coaching staff that it was Hugh Roach who's taking credit for the try. So Meeks and Roach, the two scorers for the Rebels in the first half. And that's Teller with the high kick coming out of his 22. Underneath it is Masters. And Justin Masters gets tackled 25 metres out in front of the black dot. Goddard, Jeffries, Hunganar with the carry. 15 metres in from the right touchline. They go to the short side again. And that's big Pone Famasili, who was originally slated to start, but actually has come off the bench to be on the field in the second half. Slow ball here, so it's that man Mokofiso with the carry. Hugh Roach at the base, going acting half. He finds the big Trevor Hosea. Of course, second year out of school, Trevor Hosea, former Brisbane College product. Or was it Brisbane Boys High? I always get that one confused. And the Rebels through Trevor Hosea, crashing it up inside the 22. Done a good job of slowing it down here, the Reds, and that's a very hard carry. And Roach with the show and go. So 15 metres short of the line. Forward set to the left. Hunganar with the carry on this occasion. And great leg drive, gets 3 or 4 extra metres post contact. They're up very quickly on Hosea, and Dunbar gets an offload away and finds that man Roach again. And they align to the right, the forward pack. Another carry from big Pone Famasili. A one-hand pick up there, beautifully done by Hunganar. It's all looking a little bit scrappy though. Tip pass there from Jeffries. Offload from Mokofisa. Ikapota Tupai crashes it up to within 5 metres of the line. And slowing it down very well is the Reds. Tip pass beautifully done. Finds Pone Famasili, who rolls within 2 metres. At the base of the ruck is Jeffries, looking for the pick and go.
Let's see if they'll be rewarded with after this 15th phase.
Tupai standing at first receiver on the left. He's got Gibbon right behind him, shoulder to the wheel, trying to will him over from 2 metres out. A lot of pressure coming. Working it now closer towards the goalpost pads. Mokofiso breaks through, desperately short of the line. They can smell the chalk there that close. And the referee has blown it up. I think he might have called held up here.
Held up, yeah.
But the forward's doing a very good job there of keeping it in tight and just smashing into that white wall that is the Queensland defence. And Tommy Mitchell did speak about that at half-time, didn't he? the defensive work that's gone on in the off-season through coach Peter Ryan with the Queensland Reds. And, well, he got the job done on that occasion.
Yeah, 15 plus phases well defended by the Queensland Reds. It's good to see that level of fitness being this high this early in the season. I think a little bit of it is just who wants it a little bit more on that one, and that was a great goal line defense by the Queensland Reds.
So there's a man down in back play. I fancy that's Big Pone Farmasili getting his hand tended to. And Sam Jeffries has called the entire Rebels team into a huddle just to lay down the law. We're only 4 minutes into the second half, but he'll just want the boys to regroup a little bit here. When we resume, it'll be a scrum to the Rebels, 5 metres out. We saw the Reds in this position on 3 occasions in the first half with the 5 metre scrum and unable to convert any of those opportunities into tries. Rebels, well, second half, the boot is on the other foot on this occasion. 5 metre scrum, almost exactly in the centre of the pitch. And as I say that, they've aligned 4 backs to the left, 2 to the right for the Rebels, so options both left and right. And I do fancy that off the back of this scrum, Mokafosi, if he can get his hands on the ball, will be going straight to the right and taking on Teller in jersey 22.
Go figure, another reset.
So many new faces on the field. We'll try to give you their names as they come through to us, folks. Bryce Hegarty on the sideline, chatting with one of the assistant coaches. Very decent shift from the new man who's just been recruited from the New South Wales Waratahs. Very sound performance from him in the first half, and I think Reds fans can be very excited about what he's going to bring to the squad this year. Linking with the likes of Daugunu. Let's not forget Sefania Valu, another former Rebel who's up north. So they've got the makings of a very dangerous backline this year, the Reds. Quick tap and go. They go to the left. Dunbar with the short ball. It's been fumbled though, and Tate McDermott gets it to the boot straight away and finds plenty of real estate in the backfield. Goddard chases hard and he's fumbled at Goddard. I think there might have been a knock on in that occasion. Referee not quick to call it though, so I think they've gotten away with the cheeky one there. And as I say that, not releasing. So off the hook on that occasion, but they're the little things that'll frustrate the coaching staff, won't it? 5 metre scrum, unable to convert that into points.
Yeah, a little bit too hasty on that first phase off of that quick tap. Sometimes you'd like, as a coach, you'd want them to slow it down just a bit.
As I say that, Teller now with the penalty kick buries it into the right-hand corner. So the Reds have quickly turned to Vents into attack and will have their own set-piece opportunity with the line out, 15 metres out. And straight away they find, well, who we got that? Higginbotham at the front of the line out. Not a bad substitute to bring on in the second half as the Reds start to pile on the pressure coming around the corner.
Let's see if the Rebels can really get that communication strong.
Pick and go, one to the left here. The forwards through Ruan Smith, first receiver on the left. Tate McDermott shows and goes to the right instead. I don't think anyone was expecting that, least of all his own teammates. Pass out the back and they find big Scott Young with the carry. He advances it to the 5 metre line as they set the train in motion. The Reds, good carry there. They're about 2 metres short. Base of the ruck, they go with the pick and go, and I fancy that's the replacement hooker Ma'afu with the carry. All 8 forwards. You can throw a blanket over them at the moment. Camped around the base of the ruck. Another pick and go. And they're over. They are over. It looks like Big Luca, the prop, who is responsible for the try. And that's, well, how quickly a game can turn. Rebels unable to get the job done at the other end of the field from the 5 metre scrum. And in less than 60 seconds, the Reds have found themselves crossing the chalk at the other end of the field.
It certainly looks like Gav Luca was the one that put that ball down.
12 all, the scores are, with a kick to come. And it'll be the younger Lucas, Isaac Lucas, who will take over kicking duties from Bryce Hegarty. And for the young man, an opportunity to put his team in front as well. So a very important kick in a very blustery breeze. And Isaac Luca with the chance to extend or put the Reds in front. 12 all. Tries today from Rebels Billy Meeks and Hugh Roach. Got the game underway. And the Reds responded through Duncan Payawa and the prop Luca. And not a bad kick from young Isaac Lucas. Kept it low in the breeze. Drilled it through. No need for the 7-iron when the 3-iron will do.
Yeah, a little bit of a stutter step from there, but nailed it right through, right above the uprights.
So Bodine Walker will be responsible for getting us underway. Long to the right he went last time. A little bit shorter on this occasion, and he's picked out Angus Blythe perfectly. So the Reds will have the ball just outside their 22 as Tate McDermott goes digging for the ball. Higginbotham with the carry, and he's chopped down in a very low tackle. Happy to slow it down to the Reds. Replacement fly half Teta with the kick. He was rushed on that occasion, so he can only kick it into the middle of the field where he finds Bodine Walker. Walker with the chip and chase. Tate McDermott positioned perfectly, and he responds in time with his own little chip kick. Stu Dunbar in the backfield for the Rebels, there to answer the question. And a very awkward kick there for, I think it might have been Jock Campbell. Lucas looking for territory in that right-hand corner. Low kick forces Walker to play at it. Not much support there for Walker, so they'll have to be very careful at this breakdown. And they've been let off the hook there, the Rebels. They only had one man sealing off the breakdown in the face of 3 would-be counter-ruckers from the Reds. So a little bit of ill discipline from the Reds at the breakdown there has let the Rebels off the hook.
Yeah, that they really did get let off the hook there. That breakdown was just 2 or 3 players, and the Reds player just came in at the wrong position. Unfortunate for the Reds there. Missed opportunity pinning the Rebels down in the corner.
So a new look line out here for the Rebels. A lot of these players, of course, on the field, academy development players, if you will, getting a chance to show what they're capable of and hopefully snag a Super Rugby contract as the throw goes a little bit too low from Hugh Roach. And I fancy they might have still come away with the ball as Goddard goes digging like a demented mole at the base of the ruck. Roach with the carry. Goddard finds Dunbar and wasn't expecting that Archie King. He got sold a bit of a dump, but the referee hasn't called a knock on there, so it's play on, and Archie King goes for a little bit of a dance up to halfway, and there's been a breakdown penalty, not releasing Archie King, perhaps a little bit isolated there. So the Reds will get another opportunity to set up a line out deep inside the 22, but ill discipline at the breakdown costing them on that occasion.
And let's see what the Reds can do. This young Reds group with Higginbotham anchoring the lineup. Let's see what they can do just outside the 22.
They've reintroduced Brendan Payenga-Amosa onto the field as well at hooker. And it looks like Ruan Smith is back out there as well. So it's almost as though they've brought their starting 15 back onto the field, the Reds, at this point. Win for the Reds. Flat pass. And straight away we see Korchek getting involved with the carry, moving it into the middle of the field. McDermott coming around the corner. Nice little tip pass to Ruan Smith there. Very slow coming out for McDermott, and the reason why is I think it's Ikapote Tupai at the base of the ruck. Did a great job in the jackal position. Goddard opts to go quickly, taps and puts a kick down and finds young Isaac Lucas.
Great tackle by Goddard there, that open field.
So game's starting to get a little bit open now as the substitutes have entered the fray. Reds with the ball, 15 metres in from the right-hand touchline. McDermott signals for the box kick. And haven't we seen a few of those today from the Reds? Up it goes, easily taken by Walker. Fangs it inside, Stu Dunbar. Dunbar opts to kick to the right-hand corner. Has he overcooked it? No. Juicy steak, medium rare.
Yes, please. Well done.
Well, I thought he might have put a little bit too much sauce on that one, but that was inch perfect from Stu Dunbar. So the Reds now will have a line out inside their 22, and this is where the Rebels want to be playing the game.
Yeah, let's see if they can up the line defense and really put some pressure on the Reds and test their fitness. And for the Reds, let's see if they can capture this and get clearance.
5-man line out called by the Reds. They take it comfortably in the middle. Mauling it up beyond the 22. Short, little dart, and they've found a bit of space down that left edge. And Wonga is perfectly paced to gather the chip kick. And now he looks to launch his own counter-attack. They go out through to the left, and there's Justin Masters. He's got a man on his inside, Tautalatasi. Oh, and that flick pass off the boots is going to be picked up by Archie King for a miraculous score.
How about that?
Well, I fancy that was a knock-on, but everyone was a little bit confused when the ref allowed it to be played on. The cheeky little, must have been a bicycle kick.
It was off his back boot just as he was sprinting through.
And well-positioned was Archie King to make the most of it. So the Rebels have arrested the lead back off the Reds, 17 points to 14, with a kick to come right in front of the black dot. But yeah, I think it was Bodine Walker who started that movement. First of all, did the great job gathering the chip kick that came through into the backfield. And then immediately, with the semi-line break, he threw that wide cutout ball to Tautalatasi on the left, who got into the backfield, and the support play on the inside from Archie King was fantastic. And this young Rebels team, against what looks to be most of the starting 15 from the Reds, who are back on the pitch, this young Rebels team has done quite well, it must be said.
Yeah, that was a great response to being pinned for a little bit and being rewarded with that kick for that line out. Let's see how the Reds respond.
19 points plays 14 here in Ballarat. Regional Victoria playing home to this Super Rugby trial match between the Queensland Reds and the Melbourne Rebels. Just under, or where are we? Yeah, bang on 2 weeks until the opener in Super Rugby 2019. So Reds kick high to the left, and Trevor Hosea looks like he's taken in the air there, so no option but to penalise Hawkins there for taking out the young 19-year-old lock from the Rebels. And the Rebels will come in, just have a little bit of a chat, pre-plan their line-out call perhaps, as Walker takes the ball and bangs it into touch right on top of the Reds bench. So the Rebels will have set-piece opportunity just inside the Reds side of halfway. And Hugh Roach with the ball in his hands. Ikapote Tupai takes it at the front of the line-out. Dunbar, crash ball, Tautalatasi breaks into the backfield. He's brushed off 1-2. Loose carry, though, is picked up straight away, and Angus Blythe has managed to steal the ball. They've got numbers on the right if they want to use it, but Duncan Payawa opts to kick. And Walker, not keen to counter-attack on this occasion, just goes for the kick, and
straight out.
In hindsight, probably not the best decision. That one's gone out on the full. So the Reds will have line-out opportunity in pretty good field position. They go up at 2. Higginbotham, quick ball. Phillip. Well, I'm sorry, Sam Jeffries there trying to get the intercepts from the Tate McDermott half-back pass. Cheeky pick and go there from the Reds, advances them up towards the 22. McDermott bossing his forwards around the breakdown, and Ruan Smith gets the ball plucked out of his hand by Stu Dunbar, who gets an offload away, and the Rebels have come away. Chance to counter-attack down the left-hand edge this time. Jeffries, though, opts to put it under the big chicken wing and go for a run. Goddard, wide ball, they go to the left, and Masters takes it up to halfway. He's brought down by McDermott in the tackle. Goddard, flat pass finds Tupai, and Ikapote Tupai is held up in the tackle. So the Rebels there have got numbers on the right, a full back line, but it's been turned over by the Reds. And Duncan Payawa with the cheeky little grubber kick. They'll want this one to stay in. They'll want this to stay in. But there to save the day is Stu Dunbar. And what a desperate dive from Dunbar.
Well done to the Reds there. Just keep pushing the envelope and getting the ball deep and pressuring the Rebels.
Well, it was a very clever kick by Duncan Payawa. You notice that the empty backfield from the Rebels meant that there was an opportunity for that little grubber kick in behind. And very almost converted into a try. Apologies, we don't have all the numbers up here, so we won't get all the names right, but I fancy that might have been Jock Campbell chasing that.
I think it was Jock Campbell.
Scrum time, Rebels put in Harrison Goddard. 5 metres in from touch, 5 metres in from their own try line. Not many worse places to have a scrum on your own put in.
Let's see if the Reds can be calm here and not push too early, but really push back the Rebels once that ball gets put in.
Fotu Eka packing down against Pone Farmasili. That matchup on the near side of the camera, or the near side of your screens, will be the really interesting matchup. Farmasili, only in his second year of rugby, hasn't packed down in too many scrums in his lifetime, it must be said. Against the more experienced Fotu Eka. And
there's that push from the Reds.
Yeah, great shove from the Reds. And the referee has found fault with the Rebel scrum. And here comes Higginbotham. Well, Tate McDermott wanted to go quickly. Higginbotham was only too happy to accept the short pass, but the referee was having none of it and said that the quick tap wasn't taken from the mark. So the Reds here might fancy their chances with another scrum after that last one. Nope. They go to touch instead, as the forwards convene for a quick little strategy meeting.
Yeah, it's great to see the amount of communication the Reds are exhibiting this early in the season. I mean, Higginbotham is anchoring it, but it's fantastic to see and get them coordinated.
So they don't contest the Rebels, and the Reds go to the middle and set them all up. Payanga at Moser at the back has got his hands on it now as they start to inch further infield. It's peeled away once. They've managed to keep it up off the deck. Long arm advantage here, so they can use it in any way they please. And pulling it down illegally, they opt to go quickly. McDermott with the show and go, looking for a cheeky halfback try. And around the corner the Reds go and strike back straight away. I fancy that was Payanga Amosa with the try. And the Reds hooker has taken the scores to 19 all. Kick to come.
That was a great team effort. Seeing the Reds connected phase after phase, and the Rebels' only option is to have the penalty on that last line out. So great to see the Reds really push the pace and push the Rebels over.
Definitely a different intensity in the last 5 minutes of this game you can feel as the Water Boys come out, and I think this will actually coincide nicely with the three-quarter time break. Of course, pre-season, both teams agreeing to sort of break up the game a little bit more and give their players a bit more of a rest throughout the 80 minutes. So after this conversion attempt from Isaac Lucas, which has the potential to put the Reds back in front, we will have a brief 2-minute break as Lucas, well, he's missed a rather easy attempt there, Neil.
Yeah, he pulled it just too much to the left. It'll be interesting to see with both teams, Gerard, if they really go to the substitutions with the more experienced players, or really let the young guys have a run and see who, finish the game, who wants it more.
Absolutely. 1 quarter of play to go, 20 minutes left on the clock, scores at 19 all. The 15 on the park for the Reds look closer to the starting 15 that they had. whereas there's only one current Rebel on the field who started the match, that being Bodine Walker in the number 15 jersey. You're right, there is the opportunity today with unlimited substitutions for both coaches to call at any time for their reserves bench to come on the field, and I'm sure no team would mind if some of those starting 15 players were allowed to be reintroduced into the game. Such is the spirit of the trial match down here in Ballarat. So the Reds just gathering on halfway, having a little bit of a chat. I can't help but feel that the fact that that try occurred right on three-quarter time, the teams might just be happy to get straight back into the match and won't pause too long for a drinks break. And yep, that's exactly what's happening here. The Rebels opting not to have their own little midfield halfway chat. So Bodine Walker will get us back underway. And as I say that, Lucan Salakaya Lotto has re-entered the arena in jersey number 5 for the Reds. And that's exactly where they kick it to start the third or fourth quarter, I should say. Salakaya Lotto safe under the high ball. Higginbotham with the charge up to the 22. They opt to go for the box kick for what feels like the 10th or 11th time today from the Reds as their exit move. And Malo Lua, the third halfback that the Reds have brought down to Ballarat this week, has kicked the ball into touch. Hugh Roach here with the throw. Standing in the middle, the three big targets of S.A. Hungana, Trevor Hosea and Big Sam Jeffries at the back. Plenty of options. They go to, well, it had been intended for Hosea, but it's been turned over by the Reds here. And Molo Lua gets a late pass away to Lucan Salakaya Lotto. And they've lost a few metres, so they opt to kick it through Teller, and that's a bit of an interesting kick. Came off the side of his boot. So Masters will take the carry, and he secures possession for the Rebels. Goddard finds Gibbon. And they've bounced it up to halfway now. The forwards are lining on the left-hand side here for the Rebels, so Goddard didn't get the memo and goes to the open side instead. Options left to right, finds Big Sam Jeffries with the carry. And Jeffries charges in and picks up about 6 metres post-contact. Short ball finds Pone Farmasili. Big Farmasili into the backfield. The 140-kilo wrecking ball brought down about 10 metres out. They've still got a bit of time up their sleeve here, the Rebels. That man again, Farmasili, caught with his hand in the cookie jar for a second time. Roach with a lovely tip pass to Tupai. Goddard, options left and right, demanding that they get around the corner, and there is Masters with the carry. Tau Talatasi gets in there and gets the clean out. Hosea, the second row with the charge. Goddard delivers it off the deck. And there's the reserve prop. I think that's Gibbon out there with the carry. Slow ball on this occasion. Jeffries with the tip pass. Not expecting it was his teammate, so the Reds come away with it through Ma'fu. And there's that new man, Malo Lua, the halfback with the box kick. So Archie King will have to turn around and run 70 metres backfield. Opts to go quick to Hasila, passes it infield to Justin Masters. And Masters goes on a little bit of a gallivant upfield. Game really opening up now for both sides. And ill discipline at the breakdown, an ineffective clean out there from Hungana means that the Reds are able to generate a breakdown penalty. And
well rewarded there for the Reds.
Yeah, great reward for the breakdown effort that they've put in tonight.
Just think a little bit too much on the Rebels down in near the 5 meter line. Just tried to do a little too much.
Yeah, you could see Jeffries had almost premeditated that tip pass when he was within 5 metres of the line, and his teammate outside of him just didn't have the mitts to bring it in, and that's what led to the turnover that sees us 80 metres downfield. Ma'afu goes to Higginbotham at the front, stolen by Hosea, and the young lock for the Rebels relieves a little bit of pressure. Jeffries with the carry on this occasion. Slow to get to the breakdown of the Rebels forwards. Goddard with the box kick. Hunganar, the second rower, chasing. He wants to level out. Ooh. Well, it's gone out on the full, and Higginbotham's grabbed S.A. Hunganar and had the potential to spill over into a little bit of an altercation there, but I think both men realised that trial game, probably not the best time to be throwing any punches.
Yeah, both players just backed off on that one.
Payawa comes away with it. He gets tackled in the middle of the field, manages to get a beautiful offload away, and straight into the backfield goes Hardy, and Hardy shows a clean pair of heels to break the 19-all deadlock, and the Reds have jumped up 24-19. Well, Payawa has been involved in everything today, taken a lot of carries in close contact, laid the platform there, and Hardy, well, hasn't he got fancy feet himself? Dancing through like that, got into the backfield, still had a little bit of work to do to get around King, managed to do it, and with only 14 minutes to go, a try like that can just be so valuable, particularly when it's this close to the post. Kick to come, this could extend the lead to 7 and just makes it that much harder for the Rebels, who will then have to have a 2-score game if they want to win.
Yeah, Duncan Payawa has really been leading by example, really been all over the pitch this evening.
Marlo Lua adds the 2. 26 plays 19 as we enter the final 12 minutes of the game. And the shadows start to lengthen over Mars Field here in Ballarat. And you might even be able to catch a glimpse on the far side of the field what looks to be a lot of the Rebels' non-playing squad today, who were gathered in the one of the last sunny spots here in Ballarat. Long to the right they go. Tate McDermott. Oh, no, Isaac Lucas rather with the catch. Marlo Lua. They get the little tip on to Higginbotham. And the Reds go to the big prop Luka. Held high in the tackle, and they've managed to generate a turnover here as Hunganar. Slow ball low, so they go for the pick and go through Tautalatasi. Goddard looking for a forward on the left. He finds Roach, and Roach crabs across field. And a loose place by Roach has been, well, perhaps not his fault entirely. Referee has blown a penalty, not releasing at the tackle. So the Rebels will have a chance almost immediately to respond to the try scored only moments ago by Hardy.
I would have really liked to see the Reds keep the pedal to the floor, but a couple of mistakes and a turnover has led to a lineup for the Rebels just outside of 5 meters.
They'll be very impressed, Coach Kevin Foote, defensive coach for the Rebels there, with that choke tackle where they were managed to rip the ball away. S.A. Hunganar, I fancy, who managed to get the high tackle and rip it away from the Reds' ball carrier. So the Rebels will have a line out, 7 meters from touch. Oh, and again it's gone to Hosea, but it wasn't the cleanest of takes. They still managed to get it to the back where Hugh Roach has got his hands on the ball as they start the steam train. Goddard wants it to the backs. The forwards aren't keen to give it up that easily. King with the tip pass to Talatasi. Dunbar finds out wide, and there's the unmarked Masters. Try time Rebels. Well, I thought they might have made the wrong decision letting the ball go from the back of that rolling maul. Goddard was demanding it, and the backs have repaid the faith by scoring immediately. Second man play out the back from Archie King. Great hand showed by Walker, and eventually Dunbar is able to find Justin Masters unmarked on the left edge. for a try, which makes this trial very interesting. 24 points to 26.
Yeah, we'll be heading into the last 10 minutes, potentially with a try. Really crisp hands on that last sequence to lead to that try.
So it looks like it'll be Bodine Walker with the conversion attempt, and he's taken it back a very long way. It has been very breezy here in Ballarat today, it must be said. And he doesn't get much protection on that side of the field. So certainly a far tougher kick than Malalua had to take for the Reds only 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah, this one will push left to right. See if he keeps it low.
And you just wonder if the Rebels coaching staff might be tempted, I know it's a trial, to return to their starting 15, to perhaps some of the bigger names for this last 10 minutes, now that a result is in sight. And the kick is no good, out to the right. So scores will remain at 26-24, 9 minutes to play, and everything to play for now.
Yeah, it should sum up to an exciting last 9 minutes. Let's see if the Reds decide to kick deep or to keep it high on this kickoff.
Teller gets us underway. He goes high to the left. Hosea underneath it. Doesn't need a lifter on this occasion. Bounces out of one tackle and takes the carry. Well, the referee has pinged the Reds there. I fancy that might even have been Hawkins, who didn't roll away. So that's quite a relieving penalty for the Rebels. And Walker will have an opportunity to kick to touch and try to bury the Reds in their own half for this final 9 minutes. I can't recall a try which has actually come from the other side of the field. There haven't been too many major breakouts or line breaks today, which is perhaps a tip of the hat to both defensive coaches, Peter Ryan and Kevin Foote. Most of the tries have originated from within the 22.
And most runs, there's only been maybe one or two over 15 meters.
Yeah, not too many line breaks at all today as they go for what feels like the 20th box kick of the day from the Reds. And Higginbotham got up there. I'm not sure if he got a touch on it before it went out. He must have though, otherwise it would have been out on the full. So it'll be a line out to the Rebels, and that looks like Robbie Abel, a very late recruit to the Rebels squad, who's out there on the field in jersey number 16. And he finds his man Hosea. And the Rebels come away with the line out straight away. Ferretti Saga with the carry. Originally named to start today, but only coming on for the final 10 minutes of the match. And coming through the centre, putting a lot of pressure on that breakdown is Liam Wright. High box kick finds Isaac Lucas. Bit of fancy feet there from Lucas. And the Reds have got numbers on the right if they want to use it. That's where they shift it. Payawa, the danger man. Looking for Hardy, the try scorer. Oh, he was taken high. Referee hasn't spotted it though, so the Reds will retain possession on their side of halfway. Carry there from the replacement prop, Hoopert. Straight back into the pocket, and Teller puts it high in the air for Stu Dunbar. And they managed to tap it back quite effectively there, the Reds. So Scotty Higginbotham will come away with it. The former Rebels captain himself, of course. As the Reds get the ball back, and Big Luca goes charging over the halfway line. Malalua, Teller, long pass to Hardy. That pass looks as though it went a little bit forward. Ref hasn't called it. And Hardy in support gets tackled 5 metres in from touch. Malalua, Teller, great little interpassing there from the big men. And the Reds have got it inside the 22. And here's another little tip pass coming from Big Luca and intercepted by Dunbar. And if Dunbar can find Hasilla here, which he does, it could be dangerous for the Reds. Well, the knock-on from Goddard occurred, and there's a chance to counter-attack here from the Reds. And there we see Liam Wright. Lucas now on the left finds an inside ball option. Down the left, quick hands. Salakaya Loto getting his hands involved. Big carry there by Big Luca, charging head first. My turn, says Hupert. As the forwards remain here on the left-hand side, or most of them for the Reds, and that's where they come. And Salakaya Lotto getting heavily involved in the last 10 minutes with plenty of touches. They're happy to set up on the right, and Ma'afu with the carry gets within 5 metres of the line. Offside here by the Rebels, so the Reds have got an advantage if they want to try something a little bit special. Payawa gets his hands on the ball, does a little bit of a dance, brushes off, gets a lovely offload away. And I'll tell you what, Sam Jeffries has saved a certain try in the corner with a very desperate lunge.
Great second effort from Sam there to really twist the player out of bounds, but back for the penalty right under the post.
So Reds lead 26-24, 4 minutes to go. And on the far side of the field, Rebels fullback Abodian Walker, the only man to play the full 78 minutes so far today, is being taken off the field with what appears to be an injury. So I think all the Rebels reserves had already put on their big parkas and their jackets, thinking that no more subs were going to be made, but this might just call for a quick substitution. So I'll try to get the name for you when I find out who's come on at fullback. It looks like Archie King will move to the back.
I really like how the Reds have elected a scrum here.
Great chance to flex their muscles up front. They've got a 3-3 split. The Reds pack on the left, Teller, Payawa. But I think they'll fancy keeping it in the pack at this stage, wouldn't they? Give their forwards a chance to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
it twists there, and that's a very messy scrum for the Reds. So they're passing out to the left, and Payawa has to tidy up what was a very dirty situation, and a wild pass thrown by Higginbotham goes into touch. Let off the hook there, the Rebels.
Yeah, just a little too much flash, trying to do a little bit too much magic, but we're nearing 2.5 minutes left in the running time.
So if they're going to want to steal a victory here, the Rebels, who are down by 2 points, they're going to have to go the full 95 metres, it looks like, with 2 minutes left on the clock. Of course, let's not speak too soon. They've got to take care of the scrum first, and with an entirely new front row out there against a slightly more experienced Red forward pack, this will be a tough ask for the young Rebels forwards. Really? Goddard with the feed. Dunbar stands at first receiver. Wide cut. Ooh, Tautalatasi gets the offload away. And there's a loose pass. And the intercept to the Reds will go unrewarded because the referee has found an infringement at scrum time, I fancy. So the Rebels.
It looks like that was called angling in. Just for the Reds, just a little bit too much on that loose head side.
As the clock ticks down to the final 90 seconds, Stu Dunbar, who's had a bit of time at 10, and I think he popped up a little bit at 15 in today's game as well, is given the responsibility of finding touch. And Robbie Abel, the latest Rebels recruit, saunters down to the sideline for the throw. That's Reece Brodie giving him the line-out call in jersey number 30. And they opt to go to Trevor Hosea in the middle.
Great execution on that line-out, nice and crisp off the top.
Tautalatasi breaks through into the backfield. He goes, he's looking for support. And the Rebels find Sione Tui, the young 19-year-old. They go down the left, Dunbar. Quick little tip pass finds Hasila, the 19-year-old winger, bundled into touch. There's been a little knock on, 30 seconds to go, and the young Rebels almost have stolen it at the death. Well, Tautalatasi, with the line break, made it into the backfield, and Sione Tui, the Melbourne Unicorn outside back, still only, I think, 19 years of age, was there in support. And credit to the Reds defense, 80th minute of a trial. They'd be out on their feet, blowing hard. The scramble defence from then was absolutely impeccable. So they'll have a scrum 5 metres out from their own try line here, and this very well could be the last play of the game. Tight head from the Rebels. Can you believe it? Goddard gets his hands on the ball. Dunbar, wide cut. Talatasi with the ball. Standing at outside centre. Offload. Finds it to Masters. Masters carries it up 10 metres short of the line. Looking for a forward runner. They find Dunbar. Gets it out the back. Forward pass to Hasilla, surely. But he gets the offload away, and Dunbar in the corner. Stu Dunbar has stolen it in the final play of the game, and the Rebels have found a miracle in Ballarat. Can you believe it?
That was fantastic.
The Reds had a scrum on their own 5 metre line. Time was up. All they had to do was win the scrum, kick it into touch, and this inexperienced Rebels forward pack managed the tight head, got it out the backs, and through a series of miracle offloads, the ball has found its way in the hands of Stu Dunbar, and they have won the game with the final play with a try in the corner that has got everyone in the crowd on their feet. And can you believe it?
Vessels will have to love that execution. Great hands. A little bit of miscommunication, but the right people were there at the right time. Just that little bit of extra fitness. And kudos to the Rebels to finish off that try the way they did.
Yeah, a little bit of razzle-dazzle. I thought they might have thrown one too many offloads throughout that movement there, when all they needed to do was control possession and wait for the forwards to set up. But no, the backs took it upon themselves. Masters, Tautalatasi, who's had a very strong game, particularly in the second half where he's popped up at outside centre more. And Stu Dunbar, for the second week in a row, has made a real impact since coming on the field. The kick unsuccessful by Harrison Goddard. It'll matter little, in fact, as the Rebels will win this match 29 points to 26, and all 35 Rebels, yep, that's how many players they used today, folks, are on the field, patting each other's backs, getting pretty excited about what they've witnessed here today. For the Reds, not all doom and gloom, though.
No. Lots of great effort from the Reds, particularly on their line speed and defense. I thought it was really impressive. And when they had their true front row out there, I thought the front row really did do a number on the Rebels front row. So lots of positives. But as these trial matches go, you want to see some exciting play. You want to see some players that you wouldn't have seen. Gerard, what was your kind of highlight or your man of the match of the game, I should ask?
Well, with I think close to 70 players who took the field today, it's hard to single out one, and particularly with the Rebels, who I don't think many players played more than 30 minutes today. I'm going to actually go with the Reds player. I think Duncan Payawa probably topped the carry count, which is quite unique for a number 12. He can hold his head very high and very dangerous every time he got his hands on the ball. Well, that does it here from Ballarat. The Rebels have come away victors in their final trial match for 2019 before their Super Rugby season kicks off on March 1 against, well, actually a lot earlier than that, but their first home game is on March 1 against the Highlanders. Super Rugby kicking off in 2 weeks. And that'll be all from us here in Ballarat. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to catch the highlights tomorrow. Goodbye.